Trade negotiator Rajesh Agrawal says the deal with the US and EU FTA are on the table and likely to be signed soon. He, however, refused to put a timeline on the deal completion. Rishabh is here with more details on the updates regarding this.
Right. What we've learned from the trade data briefing today is the fact that there's crucial updates on India's negotiations, both with US as well as the European Union. First, the US, 6 formal rounds are completed. That has been the status for very long. What the Commerce Secretary is also telling us is the fact that the US remains a good market. India's exports have bounced back for the month of November to the US. It remains India's top export destination as well. And given the environment that the countries are in, there are sort of strained trade ties. What he has said that there might not be another formal round. It might not be needed at this point in time, but there will be virtual as well as physical engagements that will be continuing with the US. His words exactly are that India and US are very close on the framework deal, and that means that they are very close on the first tranche, which is aimed at addressing the 50% tariffs that India is facing, and the rest, the full-fledged bilateral trade agreement can come in later. But India and the US are said to be very, very close to the framework part of the deal, which is aimed at addressing the tariffs. He also said that there are challenges, but there is also a positive climate where two countries are reaching out and trying to figure out how they can strengthen their bilateral mechanism. On the EU front, we have some updates as well. On the EU front, differences are being narrowed down between both sides. You had a very large EU delegation that was in town just barely days back, and there has been progress made on that front. There's also the same status EU also holds in the fact that there might not be more formal rounds that take place, but what might take place are technical engagements, and these talks, virtual talks, will continue to go on. On chapters being dropped in the EU FTA, he said that at this point in time, in the interest of the larger agreement, there need to be chapters that have to be dropped. India will be taking that call at that point in time. At this stage, he said, it is the most difficult stage of the EU FTA, given the fact that he's presented with a lot of set of differences, and CBAM being one of those differences, the carbon border adjustment mechanism, which is a used example of a carbon tax, that is proving to be a big sticking point between both the sides, but engagements are on with the US as well as the European Union.
All right, this is an important development coming in for India-US trade deal talks, but still the street has not got what the street actually wants to hear. And that's why we are seeing markets in a very short, narrow range right now, but with a negative bias trading. Let's just